All right, team, before we head out to Taylor Lake here today, let's just take a second and close our eyes and listen to the sounds of nature. And what else do we hear?
The highway.
The highway, that's right. Tons of cars driving across this highway here. And while it is necessary for this highway to exist, it does pose a problem for the wildlife in the area. Now, do we think Banff National Park is busy for a national park, or maybe not so much?
I would say it's quite busy.
It is quite busy for a national park here. And now with all that being said, how many cars do we think drive across this highway every single day? Would it be maybe over 10,000 or under 10,000?
I would say over.
Over 10,000 and under
10,000?
10,000?
Yeah.
It is actually 9,500 cars driving across this highway here every single day. And with such a busy highway here cutting east-west through the national park, it does pose a problem for the wildlife of the area trying to travel north-south through these Rocky Mountains. Grizzly bears, for example, require a ton of room in their habitat to survive and also need safe passage just like we would to get across this highway here. So Parks Canada needed a creative and an innovative solution to connect these habitats and gives the bears an option to get across this highway. And that solution were these right over here. And these bushy bridges are a lifeline for the grizzly bears.
Wow.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So before we get started on our hike today, guys, we're gonna move somewhere a little bit more quiet. We'll talk about these bridges a little bit more before we get going here today.
Sounds good.
Sounds good, guys? All right, let's go.
Woo.
All right, team. Well, those bushy bridges we just saw are known as the wildlife crossings, and they were like nothing anybody had ever tried before. The idea are that these bridges are covered in bushes and trees to give the animals privacy, much like how you would use the blinds at home to give yourself privacy from your neighbors. And without this privacy, the bears may not use these bridges. And so here I have a picture of a mama bear and her cub using this bridge. And now, why do we think mama bear would take her cub on these bridges here? Are they just maybe going on a little bit of an adventure?
Maybe to find water?
To find water.
Maybe find food.
And to find food. These could actually all be options why the bears would use these bridges. And there's many more reasons as well too. These bridges are giving the grizzly bears here the opportunity to safely cross over the highway in areas that would otherwise be dangerous and starting to become a bit of a lifeline for these bears in the national park here. And now, as the popularity of Banff National Park grew, so did traffic on the highway, and so did the issues these bears had safely crossing the highway. And we have to imagine the entirety of Banff National Park here as the grizzly bears' home. And just like us, grizzly bears have different rooms in their home. And here I have a picture for you guys to show you just how similar some of these rooms can be in the grizzly bears' homes compared to ours. Grizzly bears require separate rooms for mating and for den sites, taking advantage of seasonal changes in the food and the climate, and just like us, for recreation and just for lounging around. So we can start to imagine that these wildlife crossings here are essentially like the hallways in our home, connecting all of these rooms together. And so can you guys imagine, you really have to go to the bathroom and you're trying to get there in your own home, but you can't because the hallways are blocked?
No.
Right? That sounds absolutely horrible. So these bridges are giving the bears a safe and secure passage to get across the highway, connecting all of these habitats and starting to become vital for these bears to safely move throughout the national park here. And so with all the support these bears receive from these bridges, they have become lifelines for the grizzly bears in the national park here.
Amazing.
And with all that being said here, do you guys think maybe these bridges can be used anywhere else in the world?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely, yeah.
Absolutely, right? Busy highways, just like this, are preventing wildlife from safely moving throughout their habitats all over the world here. And an unhappy wildlife is an unhappy world. And so as we move throughout our hike here today, let's keep all that in mind. And as we drive around this national park, any national park, or maybe even your own hometown, let's think about the support these bushy bridges give to these grizzly bears here. And maybe one day, bushy bridges just like this can be used in your hometown to provide the same sort of support for the wildlife in those areas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, if we're ready here today, we're gonna get a little bit of a move on. If you have any questions, you can ask me in a little bit here. But we'll get started walking and we'll head out on our hike here today.
Okay,
All
let's
right,
go.
yeah, let's go.
Awesome, guys, let's do this. Look, some sphagnum moss. Look, a common raven. Look, a yellow-rumped warbler.